Thank you very much. This is your life, and the person I'm hoping to surprise tonight is right here in this theater now. And let me tell you that I'm hoping to surprise you as well by showing you a side to this character you may never even have suspected. Oh, yes. Can you guess what name is on the book?
Yeah, we need time.
What would you do if it was yours?
$1.
Well, now, some people are in on my secret, and some of you will have already spotted some very famous names. Bill Franklin, you know, whose name is on this. What do you know? What do you want to say about him?
Well, I can't remember when it was we first worked together, but I know at the time we were worried about Chamberlain.
Madeline?
I think he's utterly adorable.
Oh. Jimmy?
And he's a great performer, and he's not bad on television either.
They're not giving much away, are they, Bob? Can you be more explicit?
Well, I think he's a great scriptwriter and a very wonderful person, but not necessarily in that order.
I see. Barry Cryer, that's what...
I've known him longer than I care to remember, and I only met him last week.
Well, not quite in Steam Video Company, but old friends of ours. John Junkin, what would you have to say?
Well, his face is about as well known as the test card, and his performance is about as interesting.
Nicholas Parsons, I know, being serious for a moment, that you have a whack of a schedule tonight, but you said, I'm not going to let this pass without being here, because I first worked with this man some 20 years ago.
Yes, and a firm friendship was struck up immediately. They've all sent him up, but I want to say most sincerely, I think he's one of the funniest people I've ever known.
Well, now, I've got a sticker on this. Which of you will pull the sticker off? And Bob, you do it, please, and announce it to everyone. Let's give it a heave off.
You're kidding.
That's what it says, Bob Todd, this is your life. Well, as you gathered, all your pals there helped us catch you out tonight. They told you, Bob, all hush-hush, that somebody else's name was on the book.
Yes,
Whose name did they tell you?
they told me it was Barry Cryer.
You thought it was Barry Cryer, and who was Barry Cryer supposed to think it was?
Him. All I can do is go. I just don't believe it.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen at home, let me explain those words of mine at the beginning of the show about a surprising side to this great comedy character. This lovable, laughable face is also the face of a World War II air gunner who amazingly survived 800 flying hours, more than 50 missions over enemy territory, and 5 crash landings. And Bob, the pals you work with weren't the only ones in on our secret, because, of course, they've also been keeping it at your home in Burwash, Sussex, and from there tonight, your wife, Monica. And here's Monica, your daughter Anne, your sons Patrick and John, and John's wife, Louise. And from our home in Herne Bay, Kent, your sister, Joan.
No. But you bitch.
I shall sit beside you in a minute.
Bob, in your real life, before you became an actor at the comparatively late age of 40, you've had to take on quite a variety of roles. But in your acting life, you've never had more bizarre ones than in the Steam Video Company.
Secretly loved you all along. Couldn't you feel my ardor?
Not without written permission. Oh, Germaline!
Oh, Henry.
Oi! What is it? Oi!
It's horrible.
Oi, you down there. Fancy being naughty with the spider.
No, I do not. Would you kindly go away? Oh, my dearest darling.
Oi! You haven't got a banana, have you?
If only I had.
I want you to keep looking at that screen, Bob, because from your very latest television comedy success, we're going to one of your very first, 15 years ago. The Best Things in Life with the late Harry H. Corbett.
Would you care to identify that?
It's your Sardinicus vulgaris, isn't it?
Is it? What's that?
Dead sardine.
Do you think it's been washed, French polished and deloused in readiness for the social event of the year? Am I free to actually consume it right now? Cold. What are you doing?
Putting paper down for your crumbs. Do you know, there's this woman whose husband is something big in margarine, and she's gone off with a page 4, column 5.
Well, of course, Bob, one of the best things for you and the best things in life was the vivacious lady who played your daughter.
Hello, Daddy dear. They said wear something simple. Well, here I am.
She's dashed here between performances of Dick Whittington at Richmond, where she's playing Fairy Tinkle of Bow Bells, June Whitfield. Let me say if you look magical.
Oh, I say thank you. I just had to fly in because I couldn't miss this opportunity of waving my wand for nearly the last time to wish you a wonderful, wonderful special evening.
Thank you.
Excuse me. We barely come upstairs.
Thank you, June Whitfield. Bob, you were June's father there, of course, but in real life, Anne, what's he like as a father?
Well, Eamon, Dad's always trying to make us laugh. But I remember at my brother John's wedding last year, he and Patrick slipped out of the church.
Well, the plan was to decorate my brother's car for his wedding. And we did pretty well. We festooned it with tin cans and streamers and crazy foam and everything. But,
Yes, the car looked fantastic. You could hardly see it. It was covered from end to end. The only trouble is, if you remember, Dad, it was the wrong car.
Bob Todd, this is your life, and you were born on December 15th, 1922 at Faversham, Kent, and christened Brian Jeffrey Todd. When you were just 1 year old, your late parents, your father Victor, a bank official, and your mother Alice moved to Herne Bay. And it's there, a year after this picture of innocence was taken, that you started infant school. In 1933, at age 11, you go to Simon Langton Boys' School, Canterbury, traveling to and from there every day by bus. But one day, the conductor slapped one hand over his nose and the other over the bell.
And the bell was pinged because the bus ponged.
Your best school pal who was on that bus with you 47 years ago, Gordon Minter.
Oh, congratulations. That's the prize after many years.
Gordon, explain that to us.
Well, Eamon, Bob tried to liven things up on the bus and decided to let off some stink bombs on the top deck. The conductor stormed up, blew in the face, rang the bell, and kicked us off. And we had 2 hours to wait for the next bus.
Thank you, Gordon Minter.
Oh, Gordon.
I'll see you after service.
Bob, it's 1939, and a few weeks after you leave school, war is declared. You're only 16, but you volunteer to join the auxiliary fire service, and the following year, you add a few months to your age to get into the RAF at 17. And soon you're being trained as a wireless operator and air gunner. One night in October 1941, the twin-engine bomber in which you're flying is returning back to base at Harwell near Oxford when the pilot turns to you and says,
"Take up crash landing positions. Let's hope we'll make it.
He was the very first pilot you flew with in your service with the RAF. You haven't seen him for 43 years. Former Flight Lieutenant Mickey Vertigan.
I might tell you something that he just said, that this is the pilot that flew a one-engine Wellington all the way across the Mediterranean and got back safely. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Well done, Mickey. And obviously, on this occasion we're talking about, you managed to get Bob and yourself down safely as well.
Oh, yes, it was a very scary moment. We came back and had to land on one engine, and just as we were about to land, we found out a previous aircraft had crashed and blocked the runway landing strip. So we had to fly around for over an hour until they cleared the runway, and we just prayed that the other engine would keep going and keep us in the sky. A nerve-wracking experience, wasn't it?
Well, very nice.
Yes. And a real test of character. But Bob, he came through marvellously.
Thank you, Mickey Vertigan. Bob, apart from training, Mickey, of course, was also your first pilot on the many operational bombing missions you flew during the war. At first in the Middle East, where you were once shot down over the Western Desert and walked for 4 days to reach safety. In fact, as I've said, Bob Todd flew on more than 50 wartime operational missions, many of them to Germany, the Ruhr, Berlin, recording more than 800 perilous flying hours. And in 4 years of flying into enemy fire, he survived no fewer than 5 crash landings. Now, Bob, one casualty is your wartime marriage. And unsure where your future lies, you stay on in the RAF after the war. Peacetime airplanes are also to play a very important role in your life, for in 1950, you go to Heathrow Airport to say goodbye to a friend, and at exactly the same time, and for the same reason, the girl you are to marry is there. You get chatting and arrange to meet later. Now, Monica, shortly afterwards, Bob decides to leave the RAF, but it took him some time, didn't it, to put the memory of those wartime crashes behind him?
Yes, it did, Eamon. He suffered for a long time from nightmares, and, well, quite desperate ones, you know. However, they're few and far between now. I think it's fading.
But, of course, when Bob left the RAF, Monica, it wasn't to start his career in show business.
No, no, believe it or not, Eamon, he decided he wanted to be a farmer.
A farmer? And you buy Brook Farm at Mayfield near Tunbridge Wells, Sussex. But why farming, Bob?
Or I fancied walking about in the, you know.
Why do you think he took up farming, Monica?
I don't know. He doesn't love animals. He's a softy with them. And do anything for them.
But the one thing you don't enjoy about farming is the early rising it demanded. And you used your ingenuity to avoid it. And how? We're going to see now as we take you back now to Brook Farm itself to hear from somebody who, though he's only a few years older than you, is nevertheless your uncle, Keith Waddell.
Hello, Eamon. Hello, Bob. How's my favourite little nephew, then? Do you remember how you used to avoid getting up early in the morning? You had an ingenious contraption of ropes and pulleys across the garden and high over the lane. Until that fateful morning, when a heavy storm caused the rope to fall across the lane, and a cyclist came along, and this happened.
And here in person, Bob, your uncle Keith Waddell, and with him, now one of the stars of Foxy Lady, Tom Menard.
But I just don't believe this. It's impossible. Because you caught me so beautifully. I thought I was seeing some other thing.
Bob, that wasn't your only labor-saving scheme that went wrong. You once, didn't you, demonstrated a unique table polishing technique? Remember?
Oh, remember.
Tell us about it.
Very simple, you see. You polish like that as you go along the table, you see. But you mustn't look round when you get to the end.
Bob, that demonstration for the benefit of your housekeeper at the farm sounds more like one of your television sketches than farming.
But it was always a laugh a minute working for you, Bob.
You haven't seen her for 20 years. She'll be 80 in June, and she's here tonight, Gwen Park.
Parky!
Parky.
Oh, she's lovely.
Enough of that now. Let us sit down there. Bob, after 8 years at Brook Farm, you made a business deal which went badly wrong and you had to sell up. But Monica, Bob kept his sense of humor, and that's how he came to get into show business, right?
Well, I decided, Eamon, he could make me laugh when I was milking at 5 o'clock in the morning. He could make anybody laugh.
So that's exactly what you did. You already had a few friends in television. You told them of your new ambition at the age of 40. And in 1962, you popped up as a policeman in an episode of the series Citizen James with the late Sid James. The same year, you're in a comedy show on radio with Barry Cryer here. Listen to this space. More television follows, and incredibly, within 12 months of starting your acting career, you're also appearing in a play in London's West End, thanks to someone who was later to be responsible for you making one of the most memorable performances you've ever given on television.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come out. Come out. Incredible Hulk.
Well, I'm sorry I'm late. Weren't you early?
Well, Bob, the man who gave you that great acting challenge was, of course, the star of that series, Q8, Spike Milligan. Spike, the play, of course, that you gave him the part in the West End was The Bed Sitting Room, and was that persuaded you to put him in the television
Yes,
series?
yes. That amnesia. Yeah. I should say all his lines for him, you know. I should stand there and say, "What are you doing today, Sergeant?" Nothing. He's the first braille artist I ever had in my show. Dare I tell this story?
Please.
There's a story. We were doing a scene where we're supposed to be doing an upmarket and an Aldershot. There was a naffy rama for soldiers. A naffy rama, and he was a topless waiter. And the short-sighted sergeant said, "That is not a topless man. That is a flat-chested woman." So I said, "I can prove he's a man. I was supposed to pull his trousers down and say, airy legs." But he didn't wear any underpants.
Thank you, Spike Milligan. Bob, within 10 years of starting in show business, your career is firmly established, and you're now in a position and ever ready to help others. As we heard from someone who says he's choked not to be here tonight, but sends you a short, long-distance message. Jim Davidson.
Well, hello, Eamon. Hey, Toddy. Bit of a shock, isn't it, mate, eh? Well, what can you say about Bob Todd? A man who's always persistently funny. And I wish I could be there to have some fun with you tonight, Bob, but I'm up north working. So, just thanks for everything you've done for me in the past, and have a good evening. Have one on me. Small tink job.
Thank you, Jim Davidson. Bob, you've played in situation comedy, comedy sketch shows, musicals, comedy films, and perhaps your favorite type of entertainment, pantomime. 3 years ago, in the pantomime Cinderella at Cleethorpes, you played Baron Hardup.
Hey, Bob, you should have been a magician, because you didn't have to do a disappearing act one night.
Now starring in Dial M for Murder at London's Vaudeville Theatre, he was Buttons in that panto, and for 22 years, Glenn Fairclough in Coronation Street, Peter Adamson.
to you.
You haven't forgot that.
Peter, what's the disappearing act in pantomime? Tell me.
Well, you see, when you're playing Cleethorpes, as you walk off the stage, you're very near the stage door, and this particular stage door has got a Yale lock in it, you see. If you remember, when you exit, there's sort of the Irish Sea in front of you. Bob made an exit one night, of course, went straight out and to get a breath of fresh air. The door slams behind him. Couldn't get back in. Little Cinders is on the stage saying, "Oh, dear, I'm so sad I can't go to the ball. I do wish my daddy was here so that he could comfort me.
Daddy was going.
I do wish daddy here was..." And he's got to walk all the way down the pier, right round to the front of the auditorium and come in. And she said, "I do wish daddy was... I wish somebody was here." And Bob comes straight and he says, "Don't worry, darling, I'm here now, my lovely." Straight down the auditorium. We stood and applauded, you know.
Thank you, Peter Adams.
Thank you very much.
Bob, in 1979, you make the comedy hit film The Plank, working with someone with whom you were to appear again 3 years later in the television film It's Your Move. If I say abracadabra, you should see your great pal, Tommy Cooper. You became very good mates when you made those films.
I've never
together.
seen him before in my life. They took me to the bank with Sweeney Todd. They said, "The Sweeney Todd." I said, "He's dead." Well, he looked dead. I've got one of his customers here. Look, there they are there. Sweeney Todd, one of his customers. Go on, take it. No, I know Bob. I know Bob. I've known him as long as about 20 years ago. I wrote a little poem for Bob. You can sit down, it's all right. Bob, you... Oh, sorry. Bob, as you know, walks with a slouch. It reminds me of a worn-out couch. One day, I went through the studio door, and he was there lying on the floor. I thought he was on the sofa, so I thought I'll take a nap. So I went and sat on top of him, just like that. They all came in and looked for him. I said, "That's rather odd. He's not here, fellas. I'm here on my time." How's that, Bob? So bad. Thank you, Johnny Google.
Bob, your story would not be complete unless we recalled one of the greatest moments in your show business career, though it was something you didn't know was taking place. One night in 1966, somebody already well known in the business was watching television at his home when on came this.
This man is crying because he's food blind. He's food blind because his meals are smothered by the overwhelming taste of heavy flavoring. Lamb? It's beef casserole. It can be helped by Knorr. Knorr stock cubes actually bring out the natural flavor of food. It's beef? Yes, it's beef.
What? It is beef. It's beef.
And the moment he saw you, that man decided he had to have you on his television show. And when you see John Keith and Henry McGee, you know that not far away are Hill's Angels and that man himself, Benny Hill. Betty, since you saw that some 18 years ago, you haven't made a television show without a minute.
No, that is true. That is true. I haven't. We can't always get him, you know. Sometimes he's off working with Jim Davidson, you know, or a comedian or somebody. And I'm joking, of course. But the thing is, you know, I mean, during those 18 years working together, you know, we got quite close, Bobby and I, and that is why it hurts me sometimes when I hear some of the things that people do say, you know, quite untrue things, you know, like if you can't say something nice about someone, you're talking about Bob Todd. I don't like to hear that. He grows on you like a wart. And they'll tell you that he drinks a lot. Not true. He spills most of it. Perfectly honest. No, I'm only joking. Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, the truth is, he's a very, very funny man. He's a joy to work with. We all love him, and I only hope that we can be doing what we're doing now and having fun 18 years from now.
Bob Todd, war hero and laughter maker, this is your life.
On TVS at 9 o'clock tonight, Minder.
Mr. Daly, Arthur Daly.
Arthur, eh?
Is he here?
Yeah, this is him here. Hold on.
The lady needs help looking for an old mutual friend, and we are in a position to render her assistance in that direction.
He's the best chance I have to find my darling Gary. And to do that,